Looks like we're being joined by the trainer, Rick Ramos. What up, Rick?
Yo, yo, good morning. Good morning, good morning. How are you guys?
Good
We're
morning,
good.
man. How you feeling?
Good. Just took a nap after the workout and we had breakfast. And now I'm just getting up again. What's going on, guys?
Ah, man, we wanted to get you on the show after the purse bid. You know, I guess information was released, and Ivana Hazabin didn't seem to be too happy. She expected Matchroom to bid a little more, where we were a little bit, I guess, confused because she won the purse bid, so she should be happy. But she felt like
Right.
Matchroom should have stepped up for their undisputed champion. So obviously, we wanted to get you on as the trainer manager. How did you feel about the what's being considered low purse bid that Matchroom put in?
I kind of expected it. I expected a low purse bid, but I didn't expect, the bid as to be as low as it was. 91 grand, it was a little discouraging. I had talked to Eddie about it and just told him how I felt. I felt slightly, disrespected maybe, but he reassured me that it wasn't, necessarily a Jessica thing. It was more of like they wanted too much money and he didn't, they meaning Ivana and her people wanted too much money and he didn't feel like, she was network value, so he didn't want to pay it. Um, and there was confusion there, and he gave me a number. He thought she was worth under 50 grand, and I kind of figured it would be right around her end would be 50, 60, 70 grand, and our end would be probably like double. But the numbers played out the way they were. Her people won it. 201 was the winning bid, and hopefully we can get this fight on. But it did rub me the wrong way a little bit. But Eddie called me. We talked about it, and he kind of he gave his point of view, and he's the one with the big pockets. So there's really not much I can say.
So, Rick, I mean, if the numbers you gave, right, obviously it kind of worked out that way. You know, you guys will be getting 65% as a champ, no?
Yeah, I think it was 70%, 70 30, and
O-
10% goes, or 10,000 goes to the winner on top of it. So 70% of 191,000 goes
Yeah.
to
So,
us, and she gets the balance. Yeah,
okay.
So
yeah, it wasn't horrible.
do you think that this is happening strictly due to Jessica not getting the win over Cameron? Do you believe things would have been different had she gotten the win? Would Eddie opened up the war chest, or do you think it still would have been the same situation? You still because you guys are also a free agent, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, it might not have played out the way it did. If we would have won, we would have probably stayed at 140 and vacated the 147 belts. So we wouldn't have had that issue at all. Chantel would have probably had the issue because if Chantel lost that fight at 140, I'm sure she would have went up to 147. We would have vacated those belts, and she would have had to fight Ivana for them. So, um, it's always easier and better if you win, right? So I think it was a little more difficult, and maybe we were less appealing to Eddie because of the loss. But we took the risk, and we are free agents, and it didn't work out 100% our way, but it didn't work out 100% not our way either. So I kind of figured they would come in low for an Ivana fight. So the numbers that we're gonna get for this fight is probably a little bit more than I thought we would get because he had warned me like, hey, this Ivana girl is not that well known. Hopefully you can work with us on the price. So, and I agreed. We understood. So it wasn't like fighting Chantel. It wasn't like fighting a bigger name fighter. So we understood and we were willing to work with our promoter to make the fight happen.
Now, whatever happened with the talks of the rematch with Chantel at 147, or was that just talk and did nothing ever, uh, obviously nothing fully develop, but how serious were those talks?
The talks were they weren't that strong after the fight. I think. because of the performance wasn't, what we thought, we meaning Jess and I, wasn't at the level that we thought was going to happen. So I think it was like Eddie was kind of like, hey, a rematch doesn't really seem like the route they want to go. And I asked for, maybe a tune-up fight in between and, just kind of regroup and then revisit the rematch. But, we kind of, with the mandatories in place, we kind of lost the opportunity for the tune-up. And Eddie was kind of thinking that we should hold off on the rematch. I kind of agreed. So kind of just all, it wasn't there for everyone. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a rematch is like the demands there and everything just seemed to work out. But this time it kind of went the other way. So doesn't necessarily mean we won't get it. But I think like maybe after a fight like this, if we win in spectacular fashion, we'd have, we'd be willing to talk about a rematch at 147 or 144 or catchweight, something like that.
So Rick, where do you think this ends up happening since they won the purse bid? Is there an idea of what network will air it?
Honestly, a network? No, I would say no. Location, I guess I'd have to say Croatia, I would think, but as far as network, I don't know. Like, I don't know that much about Ivana's, manager, so I don't know what kind of relationships he has, but I would have to say like a fight TV kind of thing, a pay-per-view type thing. And I'm assuming they would want to bring it back to Croatia. That's kind of the reason why you go for a purse bid, I would assume, right? So I don't know. I haven't heard from anyone yet on their end, so I'm just kind of waiting to hear. So until they give me a ring, like we don't really know what's happening yet.
Is there a timeline for this fight? Like they won the purse bid. Do they have a certain amount of time before they have to notify you of dates, venues, and things of that nature?
Well, the fight has to take place within 90 days. So I think probably the purse bid was what, like a week and a half ago. I was gonna give him till this weekend, and we got to start calling by Monday. So I'm just gonna give him till Monday, see if I hear anything, and after that, like I have to go chase this thing down because I'm not 100% sure that they thought that it was gonna work out this way. He might not have the funds to cover it. I don't know the guy, like I said. So if he was to, let it go, then I don't know if we'd have to go to repurse bid. I don't even know. I'm not sure exactly what would happen at that point.
I think
Or
if
do
he,
we,
I think if he defaults, he loses his down payment. Then it goes to the next person, which would be Eddie. That's kind of what happened with Tio. Remember?
With Tio and George Cambosos, yeah.
Did you freeze? Oh shit!
Damn, we lost him.
You there? Okay. He's totally frozen.
All right.
He might have got a call, and there he goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, see if we could get him back.
Rick? Looks like he's got bad service. Rick?
Damn. I wanted to ask him about Creed.
No, Rick. Rick!
New York Bullet, what up, champ? I'll see you.
I don't see you in the green room. So we'll be waiting for Rick to join us and keep the interview going. So he believes that it may not happen all together, bro. And Croatia.
Well,
I was going to ask, like...
He ain't say that.
What?
He ain't say that he don't think it's going to happen.
No, he did. He did. He said it may not. He said, I don't know this guy. He may not have the funds. That's enough insinuation right there, don't you think?
I mean, he ain't even talking.
He also said, I don't think he thought it would go this way.
Yeah.
Meaning what we all think, that just
Eddie,
what Ivana thought, that the Matchroom would win.
For sure.
And that, the more capable
but it's like
people would put on the fight.
Like, realistically speaking, he came in at a number that's what the A-side was, thinking. That's what, he said. He's like, cool, we get about, she get 50, 60, we get about double, whatever. So it's like, why bid that high if you didn't? You know what I'm
Something
saying?
wrong with his internet. He dropped off again.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Why? But in the meantime, in between time, we got Muzzle House. Uh-oh. Muzzle, hold up. Let me see if this is going to work. Rick, you got us?
Yo, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. What's up?
Nothing, just
So
back,
where did we
there's
last
so much
leave
talk. It's
off?
crazy. What's that?
I said, where did we last leave off?
The last thing I heard was did I hear from their people and where do I think the fight's gonna land? I don't know if you
Yeah.
caught any of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
saying Croatia is what you thought, but you also mentioned that you weren't sure if it happens because you feel like they probably were not expecting this outcome themselves.
Yeah, I don't know if he tried to walk the bid up. Like I said, I don't know her manager at all. Like we had text conversations in the past. He seemed like a straight up guy. Like so, can't imagine that he would do all that and willing to risk his bid or at least the down payment on it. So I just don't know how much funds he has access to. But hopefully the fight goes through. Hopefully we get the win and we can move on. But I haven't heard anything from anyone yet, so I'm just kind of waiting.
Rick, why do you think she's not desirable to Matchroom or even yourself when you speak of her? I mean, she only lost to Cecilia Barrakas, who was a common opponent with Jessica. Then she lost to Clarissa Shields, which is a common opponent with Jessica that Jessica wants to fight or that you have mentioned throughout, the last few years. So
Mhm.
why do you think she's not marketable?
I don't necessarily think that that's my opinion. I asked for that fight in December. I think I had text Eddie like December 6th. I said, hey, I think an Ivana fight at 147 is a good fight for us. I think Eddie had also commented on Twitter because she had called us out a little bit. And Eddie said, yeah, that's a good fight. So I was kind of confused too. It's not necessarily like me or like necessarily what I believe. I think it was a great fight for us. I think it's a great fight to see. If we still belong on this level. And I think she'll definitely come with it. She'll definitely come to win. And it's not 100% guarantee fight. So I think it's a perfect fight for us right now. As far as marketability, I don't know her background. She has, I think she's a former world champion, I believe. She's fought Cecilia Breakhouse. She's fought Clarissa. She's got the resume. So I like the fight. I think it's a perfect fight. But for whatever reason, I felt like Matchroom kind of shut it down. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because we were out of our contract, and maybe because they don't have a contract with her, so they were just kind of like, we're not going to deal with, you know, two fighters without contracts. I don't know. I kind of was thinking the same. I don't
We've kind of
necessarily
been
agree.
seeing this a little bit. We just see Michaela Mayer take to her social media and say that Alicia Bumgarner is now all of a sudden interested in the rematch with Michaela because Matchroom, doesn't have the money for the rematch. Plus, she's seen her purse for her last fight. And,
Hmm.
on her undisputed night, the people were only asking about her. Do you think that we're losing a little bit of the money that women's boxing was getting a year or two ago? Is it going backwards now?
That is like the $1 million question. I just think that Eddie, like, he was the one paying everyone 90%, 95% of, female boxing came from Eddie. And I just think Eddie's just trying to take a step back and not have to be the one who covers, both ends. I think it's going to happen. And, obviously that was kind of confusing to me too, because it looked like Alicia was going to go a different direction. And then they did bring up Michaela Mayer, so I was a little confused by that too. But maybe Eddie doesn't want to be the one fronting the bill all the time. I could see that. But if that is the case, and if if we're gonna start going to purse bids and we're gonna start seeing if the other promoters will pay it, that's the female boxers are gonna take a huge pay cut because I don't think other promotional companies are paying at the level that Eddie's paying at. So it could it could make things a little sloppy, and it could make things people could get angry, and it could get ugly. So we'll see. I don't know.
So I did see that you put your pound for pound list, but you left off Franchon Cruz, who's undisputed, and you left
No,
other women
she's on.
who
She was on there. She was number.
really.
Yeah, she was on there. I think I had her 8, and she's on there. I would never leave out French. I didn't. I don't think I put her last name, and I think some people got confused. I think I had her number 8.
I'm gonna have to double check, Rick. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
double check
sure
it.
because I
Yeah,
tweeted
no,
like, "Yo, you ain't got her on here."
7. He got a
No, she's on.
7. Yeah, I got to pull it
Yeah,
up right
yeah,
here. I got to
yeah.
pull
No,
it
I
up right
had her.
here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I didn't. I
7.
don't think. Yeah, I don't think I put her. Is that her maiden name or her last?
Yeah,
Her
yeah,
husband's
yeah,
name?
yeah. You put Cruz, not Cruz, with an EWZ, but it's all good.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't
my
even
bad. My
see the
bad.
Franchon. Oh shit.
Yeah, I had her on there. French. I knew French Sean a long time. She's got my respect. She's a good person. I had to keep her. A lot of people keep her off the list. I don't know why. I've always liked French Sean Cruz, and I feel like anyone who's undisputed should be on that list. For sure.
For sure, for sure. Because that's how I feel. I feel like if you undisputed, you got to get on the list. Like, what makes
Oh,
you
no
pound
doubt.
for pound if not collecting every single belt?
For sure. I saw your girl, Denisha Green. Ooh,
Shadeja,
Shadeja.
I fucking told you, Rick,
Shadeja.
2 years ago. I
You
told you,
did.
Rick, that could have been
Yo,
yours. That could have been
100%. You
yours.
did. You did tell
I
me. That
told
girl's
y'all, man.
a
Yo,
beast.
Salida right now probably wakes up with a headache every day, and so does Lou fucking DeBella. Lou DeBella made me send him video and everything. Like, oh, put together a video.
Yeah,
It's like, bro, I did
yeah.
so much to put her on, and they
You
they
did.
didn't pay attention, bro. It's crazy.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I think
Jake.
you were the
Jake, out
first
of all
person.
people, is the one that was like, yo, I see it.
Yeah,
Ah,
you were the
man.
first one that put me onto her, and I was kind of looking at her, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, this girl could fight. And then she fought. That girl that she fought was tough. I wasn't
Bro, that
100%
was a
sure.
unified former champ. She was unified,
Hmm
like, and
I
she
wasn't
was a
100% sure
big
she was gonna get
girl.
through that.
Yo,
Yeah,
and
she
and
l-
and,
she
and
looked
see,
sharp.
Rick, you watch, like, you are one of the few people that actually knows women's boxing, right?
Hmm
So I'd seen her last fight against oh man, the 35 pounder that gave Katie hell. I can't. Uh,
Oh,
The one, the last, the
oh,
debut on the Jake Paul card in Phoenix.
no. You thinking of
you're talking about Delphine?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Delphine.
you mean you watched Delphine versus Sedarus?
Yeah, it was versus
That's
the
why.
other
That's
girl
why
that.
you think the Sedarus is tough because you watched Delphine, right? That's
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
saying.
yep. And that
Yeah,
was a
for
close fight.
sure.
That was in the Middle East. That was
Yeah,
a close fight.
for sure, for sure. But
So
yeah, man, shout out to how do I say her name?
Shadeja
Denisha?
Green.
Shadesha Green. She's a beast. Yeah, I was ringside for that fight, and yo, she's got the skills, man. She's tough. She's got the skills. She's sharp. She's mean. So I'm excited to see her. Hopefully it
Yeah,
works out
man.
with her.
Me too. I'm on it too, Shadeja. I actually spoke to Ann Wolf. Sent her your fight. We gonna get that right, but I want in there. If Ann starts training you, I want in there. Yeah, man. But imagine Ann comes out in her corner. It's over. Like from a
Yeah.
marketing standpoint, it's
Wait,
over.
wait. So she got the spot, or she got the mandatory spot to fight Franchon?
Yeah, but Franchon got a voluntary, so she gets to fight Hannah Gabriels.
Okay. I mean, Hannah Gabriel's tough. Either one of those two girls are tough for Green, but
No, Hannah
you
gave
know,
Clarissa the toughest fight. She
yeah, for
dropped her
sure. Didn't
too.
she drop her?
She
Yeah, she dropped her
dropped
in like
her.
the first. Yeah, I remember that.
Look how he looks at
Ooh,
me.
nah, see, you reminded me, bro. You reminded me. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
no, and then Hannah moved up to heavyweight and became heavyweight champ. I wanted
Yep.
Franchon to fight Hannah for the heavyweight belt as a voluntary because now you a two-time. To defend your belts,
Oh,
do what Canelo
yeah.
did. Go get her belt.
Hey, wait. So wait, is Franchon with Matchroom officially or no?
I am not sure.
Yeah, that was kind of gray area. I was kind of confused by that too. I didn't. Last time I saw her fight, she was on the Katie undercard, I believe, right? That's when she went
Yeah.
undisputed. Yeah,
Yes.
and she hasn't fought. Yeah, she hasn't fought since, so it was kind of confusing. So I don't know if she's with Matchroom or not. But
Yeah, I
Rick,
mean
I
this
want.
that,
fight, this fight with her and Hannah Gabriels has been talked about since the convention last year, and that was what, October, November,
November.
and still there's been no mention of a network. So I don't know if
Mm,
Matchroom wants it or not. But Hannah and Franchon both agreed. I spoke to Hannah's promoter, and they're just
mhm.
waiting on a venue. It was allegedly gonna be April 8th. Do you think there's still time for that? February, March, April. I guess right. We can still do it April 8th. You
Yeah,
think?
yeah, for sure. Those girls are always in the gym. You know what I mean? Those girls are always in the gym. Maybe they're not 100% today, but they're always in the gym. Those girls are always 60, 70% ready. So yeah, it's still time. I like to see that because that has to be a TV fight.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they get blessed and it's on a big stage, but we'll see.
Rick, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, you were there. Jess was on the call February 4th, so you were in New York ringside. I
Yeah.
thought it was a phenomenal. I know it wasn't an all women's card, but I thought it was a phenomenal job that they did with the
Hmm.
women on the card. Um, just want your thoughts. Obviously, the big talk is May 20th, the rematch. Eddie has reached out and seek the help of Conor McGregor. Um,
Crazy.
how big of a rematch do you think that is?
Man, I was
Based,
at both those.
especially like off the performance, a lot of people thought Serrano was in a tough one, and they think Katie
Mhm.
wins easily in a rematch. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, Serrano is man, she's tough. I feel like Serrano fights everyone different, so she's never kind of like the same fighter. So she's a puncher, she's strong, and she's always dangerous. But the first fight was electrifying. Like the whole building was shaking. You know what I
She's
mean? I was
slipping, Rick.
ringside.
You know she's
With that,
slipping. You don't think she's
oh,
slipping?
definitely a little bit. But I also feel like she kind of wanted to sit in there and trade with her, and maybe they thought they were going to get rid of her sooner.
But she
But I
was
think
fighting
Erica
a
Cruz.
girl like I mean, yo, I know people loving this Cruz girl, and they even saying that she's Isaac Cruz's
Aunt,
auntie.
yeah.
But
Is that
but
No,
for
you
real?
like
but
she
you're a
is. She is in
trainer.
real life though.
You're a trainer before you're a manager. Like, tell
For
me
sure.
you not looking at this girl punch like this and you're laughing. Like a girl with skills gonna sit back in the pocket, maybe lean on the back foot, fucking uppercut this girl. It was literally head down. I mean, the definition, and now I'm gonna sound sexist, but that's the definition of fighting like a fucking girl. Your head down and just go swimming. That shit was
Yeah,
garbage, man. I
I,
I I don't
I
know.
def I definitely felt like she made it a little bit harder than she thought, than she had to have.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
she had posted something. You know, she had posted something on her Twitter saying, "I want a bloody war," like going into that fight. So maybe she wasn't 100% healthy. I don't know, but I mean, she didn't look the best. It was very exciting to be on ringside, so I definitely think the fans benefited from it. But in a rematch, I would have to go with Katie pulling it through. But you know, she could punch, so you never know. She's always in the fight, Serrano. So, man, it's going to be exciting. You know, it's going to be awesome, and to do it in Ireland, those fans are going to be out of control, and it's just going to do great things for the sport.
Now, you guys crossed the pond when you guys fought Katie. That wasn't in Ireland. And obviously she's at a different point in her career now, as well.
Hmm.
Katie is, but they're talking Croke Park. That's 80,000. Can
Crazy.
can you see that coming to fruition?
What do you mean, Jessica fighting there?
No, I'm just saying, like, do you think that fight
Oh,
is
all
big
of this?
enough? Do you think that fight is big enough for an 80,000 person stadium?
Oh man.
Granted, she is from Ireland.
I mean, with
Yeah,
the
I mean, I
McGregor
think
connection now, him helping out, I'm sure he'll be in the building. I don't think it'll be an
I
issue.
mean, he was in the building when Mick Conlon fought, and that was at the Hulu
Yeah, but
Theater.
you can't compare Mick to Katie.
I'm just saying,
right,
you can't say
and
that
I
because
think
Connor's gonna be there that now it's gonna do 80K.
I mean,
right. I think I will say this. I will say if Katie fought in Ireland before, it might not be as big, but because this is the first time she's going to be able to fight here, and it's it's gonna they're going to put mega money into the promotion. I'm pretty sure they'll hit the target. Eddie Hearn's like their Matchroom is the best at doing it, and Katie is their front runner, so they're going to spend big money on the promotion. And I hope it's amazing. I hope it sells out. And I talked to the Zone this week, and I tried to get Jessica on to do the commentating. So we'll see what happens. But we
damn,
definitely want to be in the building.
here I am waiting my opportunity to not get Jessica on the commentating, but I mean, I know it's been a long time, so I'm asking more than saying, can she
Mm-hmm.
make 35? Would she be willing to fight
Ooh,
Bumgarner? Because as the female to give Katie a tough shot, Now Bumgarner's starting to call out a potential Katie or Amanda Serrano shot. I don't think she'll get either one. Both of those young
Mm-hmm.
ladies are at the back end of their career where they're looking for the bigger money fight. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they'll take on a young Bumgarner. Is that something Jessica would do? Can she go back down to 35 for an undisputed shot?
I mean, could she go back to 35? Probably. I don't think it's the safest thing to do as far as like to lose and try to squeeze down. Obviously Alicia's younger, stronger. So I would probably go no lower. I don't want to go lower than 140. But again, obviously Jessica would make the final call. But, as her manager and coach, I would suggest we stay at 40, the lowest. But,
Even if that opportunity was offered to be the co-main of Katie Serrano out there in Croke Park.
man, I wish you were the promoter because if there was an offer, we'd have to explore it. I could say anything now, but like if someone called me and it was for real, I mean, we'd have to explore it, right? I mean, you'd have to be on that
I mean,
card.
it sounds like a good build-up, right? Like Jessica's a common opponent. Alicia's
Mhm.
the new girl, right? So like she can't get to the top, but maybe with this common opponent she
But
can.
if they was on that card, they'd be
Yeah.
fighting for nothing.
Who?
Alicia and Jessica
Isn't Alicia undisputed?
at 30.
Oh, not 35.
No, she
Yeah.
she was
Oh.
talking about going up to 35 for those fights.
Yeah, that.
Katie,
Yeah, even
Katie's
even uh,
the
even a
I mean, an
even a
eliminator.
Baumgartner, yeah, even a Baumgartner Chantel Cameron at 140 is kind of appealing. If you assume that Katie wins that fight, which I think she probably will win a close decision again, you could set up a Katie Baumgartner, but I don't know, like you said, it's good for Baumgartner. It's not, no one wants to fight the young one. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I
So
don't think Serrano or Katie give Bumgarner a shot. Like it's just not needed.
yeah,
If Katie beats Serrano, she could, there's so many other women that she could fight that are not as dangerous as the puncher. So
here, let me ask you guys this: like, if Alicia fights Michaela Mayer, do you feel like Baumgartner's taking a step back?
I,
no, I think that's a. I
No.
think that everybody in boxing, whether male or female, needs a nemesis, and Michaela's
Oh,
given
for sure.
Alicia that.
Yeah,
That's like Savannah was for Clarissa. That's why that fight was so big. And now Amanda is for Katie. You need a nemesis, and I think that Michaela has become that. She knows how to be a good villain.
yeah. She needs a huge win. I don't know who. Maybe Christina Leonardo too. Would I mean if she stopped her or did something spectacular, I
Well, she
think
says she's
then it's more
announcing
appealing.
something this week. You got any clues on what it can
Oh,
be?
I mean, they were talking about Christina Leonardo too, or it has to be somebody like exciting, right? Like I don't know who. Maybe Pursoon. I don't know. Delphine Pursoon, maybe. I don't know.
And
I'd say
she's
Christina
moving
or
up.
Delphine.
She's
Yeah, to
moving up
what?
because
40?
she was posting how she feels
35?
so much better at that weight.
Wait, 35 or 40?
no, 35 because she was
Man,
just at 30, so she's moving up to 35.
I mean, she
Maybe.
fights at 35.
I mean, that's what
I
she
don't know who
said.
you fight.
She
Who
tall.
do you fight at 35?
I mean, if
Um,
she wants a Alicia rematch, there's no like, then you don't go to 40. You stay at
I know,
35.
but Alicia's on a whole nother side of the street. We don't know what Top Rank has
No, I hear
prepared for
you.
her.
I
yeah.
mean,
Like,
you
yeah, but
know,
she needs to fight. If Michaela America finds someone super exciting that fits her style, I can't think of someone off the top of my head, but there's names out there. I don't know. Delphine Pursoon or Christina Leonardo too. Those two are big fights. I think those two would be great fights for her. And if
Man,
she
someone in
smokes
the
them,
chat is
whew.
saying that Leonardo 2 would destroy Mare. What you think about that? Is that tough of a
Well, Len,
fight?
well, Leonardo too. She's a big puncher. She's aggressive. If she can, if Michaela Mayer doesn't get her off of her, she could have a long night. But she didn't do well, and maybe she hesitated a little bit with Alicia Baumgartner. So maybe, she definitely. I don't think she could run it against Christina. But if you're gonna fight Christina, now's the time because she just had a baby. Well, not just, but like 2 years ago, she's turning around. She has been out of the sport for a minute, so you don't want her to start getting a rhythm, Christina. So if you're gonna fight her, I'd fight her right now and don't wait. You know what I mean? But I don't
So
know.
Rick,
There's, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
I
No,
was
no,
just
that was
gonna
it.
ask if
That's all.
there's any new news or traction with Summer Lynn.
I think here in Chicago, Summer's taking a break. She took the fireman test, so she's kind of waiting for her results and kind of for her, she was always in a weird position. She was always kind of in the shadow of Jess, and she kind of never got the. As soon as she got on and started catching on, I felt like Eddie didn't sign too many more Americans, so she just kind of missed the bus on that. So now I think she's focused, taking a break and focusing on her personal life, and see what the future holds. She had a potential fight against Sandy Ryan, and she also had a potential fight against Terry Harper. And she was out of the gym for a minute and trying to get her personal things in order. And like I said, she took the fireman test where she's waiting for the results of that. And I'm not sure if she's going to return right away. She does have youth on her side. She's only 21, so she might hang out for a year and then come back. But unfortunately, she's taking some time off at the moment.
What did you think of Sky
Hold
Nicholson's?
on, hold on, hold on.
Oh.
I just gotta ask because, I've seen a lot of Summer, so I think very highly of her. And how did that make you feel, Rick? Because I feel like
You
that's
invested a lot in her.
not just that, but I
Ah,
feel like
man.
that's something that you were against. If I think I know you a little bit, I feel like that's something that you were against.
What do you
Is
mean exactly, Danny?
taking a break and walk. I don't want to say walking away, but taking a break. Just because I know,
Yeah.
you keep your fighters in the gym, so I just wanted your thoughts.
Ah, man, like Summer and I have been together for about 10 and a half years. So do I think she needed a little break? Sure. I think she took off at the wrong time. She was in some sanctioning bodies. She was number two, maybe a fight away from a mandatory. So, like, to do it now is kind of bad timing. But as you know, in the city of Chicago, those fireman tests and those police tests, they don't come around every year. So you kind of got to jump on it when you can jump on it. But I mean, I feel a little like, man, I think, to have Jessica as a world champion is one thing. I didn't start her off from day one, but I started Summer off as an 11-year-old kid in my gym. So to have
Wow.
someone, had to have a world champion from scratch means the world to me. To me, that makes me a real world class coach, to teach someone from ground zero. Um, so I mean, it does, it's kind of hurtful, but it is what it is, and she's got to take care of herself first and her family, and hopefully, she comes back soon, and we can do business, and the story ends good. But until then, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, she gets excited. Maybe she'll see the Katie versus Serrano fight and get excited again. I don't know, but you know, that's all I can say. I hope she comes back, and I hope we win a world title together.
Are you staying in touch with her? Because these are the times that promoters will send offers. It's like, yeah, she's been out the ring a year. She's 7-0. We can get her now. We'll catch her slipping. And they use that
Um,
name.
Ness, like, it's just like, how do I say this? Like trying to tell a 21-year-old kid, hey, the offer's coming. You know what I mean? I've been telling her that for like the last year and a half, 2 years, like some big, offers coming. I tried to tie her into a contract with Jessica's contract. We tried everything we could, and Eddie wasn't just going that route at the time. So yeah, I mean, people mention her. People say, hey, is she in the gym? I don't think she's like completely out. I think if I could put together a 2 or 3 fight deal, I think she comes back. But I think, she's helping her family, like I said, and trying to build her money and take some time off. And, Ness, talking to a 21-year-old us is a little bit more difficult, if you think about it. But I don't know. I wish I knew what to say to you guys, but like I said, I hope it all works out, and I hope she comes back, and I hope we can win a world title together. That's all I can say.
Rick, would you only manage fighters that you can train? Because I've talked to other managers that are trainers, and they're like, I'm not going to invest in a fighter if I can't watch that fighter
In the
in the
gym.
gym and make sure that
Yeah,
my money.
you know what? That is probably the best. No offense, Danny, but Ness, that was probably one of the best questions anyone's asked because Honestly, I was trying to do both, right? Like, but you're right. Like they don't, Danny, you know how I train like 7 days a week. You
Hmm.
know, even if it's a little bit, give me a little bit today. Even if you're tired, give me, come run 2 miles and go home. Give me something. But to not have a fighter with the same mentality as myself, um, is difficult. I try to manage fighters who I don't control in the gym, and it's hard. It's hard. I'd have to have a good relationship with the coach, and it's just hard. It's hard, and it's like you guys backing somebody on a podcast. You guys have your way, you have your rhythm, you have your everything, and someone comes in and tries to challenge you on it, and you're like, guys, we know this works. And they just don't want to listen, and they think they know, and it's kind of like and it's just never 100% clicks. That's what it's kind of like when you don't train a fighter but you manage him. It's a little bit more stressful, and sometimes their coaches, are covering for them. Oh no, he was in the gym today when he wasn't in the gym for 2 to 3 days. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, you know, it's tough to manage a fighter I don't train. So
Mhm.
going forward, I think I would like to train everyone I manage for sure.
The reason I ask is because I think I found another little gem.
Ooh, tell me.
She's just small, but
Uh-huh.
I guess she could get a fight with Sinisa, right? Sinisa's 105.
She's
No.
like 112.
Mm.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
might have to I mean she's fought as high as 113, 108, 109. She's jumping around to get fights, but I'm in the gym with her. This girl
Hmm.
is no joke. Like I can't wait for her to get on the betting line so I can make that money cuz they're not going to know. Obviously this little clip might ruin things, but she's nice. She is
Yeah.
very vicious for that weight class. I'm gonna send you her info because I don't
Okay.
I don't want to say it out loud in case she gets
Okay.
on that betting line. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you can work something out
I definitely got
because
to
of your
look because I'm not.
connections. Because
Yeah, I've definitely got
he's
to look
moving her.
because.
The person I know is
Uh,
moving her, but not in the direction of television. He's just getting other fights, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah. And that's the other thing too, and I want to touch on that real quick because there's some fighters who are not signed. Like perfect example, Tierra Brown. She's
yes,
we flew her out. Yeah, she's
she's the
tough. She's
cop
good.
from
She's
like the
skilled.
DMV area, but she lives in Florida, right?
Yeah, exactly. She's tough. She's good, and a lot of these fighters, and I say this respectfully, are like getting fights in Tijuana or Colombia or wherever they get these fights at, and that's not always a good thing. You know what I mean? It's like I understand staying busy or whatever, but try to fight in the states. Try to get the competition up a little bit. But I like to see Tierra Brown come out. Come out of this with a deal. I don't know if she's going to, but she's one of the people that everybody snoozed on, and including myself too. So I think there was a moment where I had an opportunity to sign her, and I think that moment's passed. But she's a tough girl, and she deserves a title shot. She's got skills, and I think she can upset a lot of people. She's a tough girl, and I wanted to
She
see her
does
get an
have one
opportunity.
loss, right?
No, she's I think 13-0 now.
Really?
12-0, 13-0. Yeah, she's never lost. I mean, granted, her last probably 5 or 6 fights were, probably not what you and I would consider like
Yeah,
average. It was probably below average.
14 and 0.
Yeah, 14-0. So
She used to
yeah, I
train with
mean,
Calvin, right?
yeah, I think yeah, she did train with them. I don't know if she's still with those guys. I don't know what she's doing now, but she's down in Florida. She's living there. She's a police
Yeah,
officer there now.
I
So
actually bumped into her in Fort Myers area. She was training
mhm.
out there, or if not, Tampa City boxing. Man, she got 10 knockouts. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she's talented. We flew her out here. She was by me for like a week, and we put her in there with some young amateur dudes. Man, she beat up some guys in Chicago. I won't say names, but she beat up some guys. She did really well. So I'd like to see her get an opportunity. But yeah, for whatever reason, Eddie's not signing Americans. So it's we
Well, he
need an
just signed
American promoter.
Berlanga.
He did just sign Berlanga, man. What do you think he's gonna do with Berlanga? Because there
Uh,
goes an American, but he's got that Puerto Rican descent, and he's definitely got New York City on smash. He claims to have sold over $500,000 worth of tickets in the small Hulu Theater twice.
Yeah, I mean he's man, New Yorker, like to be a New Yorker fight, New York fighter, those people come out. So it's kind of like its own little boxing country, right? Like if you're from New York, I mean those guys do well. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong. All those big fights, I don't think Eddie's coming too much into the States. I think all those big fights are going to be in the Garden or Hulu or whatever. So he's kind of like the perfect sign right now. You know, he's exciting, he's tough and undefeated. So it's exciting, and plus, he just surrounded himself with good people. So I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I was a little shocked by that too, but he comes in with the same manager that Daniel Jacobs got. He comes in with I think it's Keith. I think his name is.
Yep, Keith
He's
Conlon.
always, yeah. Keith. Everyone knows that every time he brings somebody to the table, it's legit. So to have somebody like that in your corner is always a huge help. So shout out to those guys. I hope it works out for them.
So is your focus, you had something?
No.
Is your focus solely on Jessica, or are you actively looking for other fighters, being as though Jessica's starting to get, is she on the back end of the career? Because, I mean, now you guys are, together and it's marriage. I'm sure it's changed for her from a fighter's perspective. Now she's thinking of, the love she got for you, the relationship she wants to build with you. So are you guys more on the managerial side for 2023? What's the plan for Rick Ramos Boxing?
I obviously have other fighters, and obviously Jess and I will be married by the end of the year, I think. But we just want to do good business and smart business for her career. But I'm always looking for new talent. I'm always looking for anybody willing to work and anybody willing to sacrifice. And like I said, I would love to bring people here and keep them here by me. We have extra houses, we have extra apartments. It's not an issue for anyone to come to Chicago for a couple weeks, even just to see if it works out. But I do have other fighters. Brandy Robinson, she's a little bit older, but she comes from Team USA. I've been getting a lot of. I have Josh Hernandez now. I took over Josh Hernandez's career, so I need someone new, someone exciting, and we'll see. I'm open to anything basically, and anyone who wants to come to Chicago for a month, let me know. Come for 2 weeks. Come for a week. And if they're willing to pay their own way to get here, that's cool. If not, if they need some assistance, I'm always willing to help. So that's not an issue either. We're just looking for new talent and trying to stay in business.
Rick, did you see the Desiree Jameson fight versus Stephanie Pinheiro?
I did not, but I was. I think they moved her too fast. I had a soft spot for Desiree because she sparred with Jessica, and I felt like she was a good kid. I think I met her grandfather. He seemed like a great guy. I was a little bothered that she lost. But because I felt like she was a good, someone that should have got to 5-0 and then take a shot. But it is what it is. Not everyone's meant for this level or this business. So hopefully she can rebound from that and understand what it takes, and let's see what happens to her. But shout out to Desiree. She's always cool with me. Always cool with Jess. Every time we go to Vegas, no problem for sparring. So shout out to her.
I'm sending you this box rec of Stephanie Pinheiro, just so you can explore it. She did fight her last two, was at 44 and 47. So I'm assuming she's a welterweight. She's 4-0 from Puerto Rico. They were able, from what me and Danny heard, Desiree got paid well for that fight. As a 2-0 fighter, it was almost unheard of. So okay. I don't know if you want to see, what's available for Summer Lynn, but she's going to have to go to Puerto Rico because this girl's a draw out there. But she's a beast. Watch that fight. This girl is no fucking joke. So even if you can't get a fight for Summer, who knows if you can co-manage, because this girl is a beast.
I heard.
And I got another girl for you. I got another girl for you I'm going to send from Florida. She's undefeated. And I believe she's in and around that division where you can get her in there with the girl we just talked about, Sinisa, one of them.
Sinisa.
Yeah, this girl is 13-0.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Again, it's just she needs management. Pretty face, Her wife is an 11 times champion, so I sent you that too.
Oh shit. All right,
Um,
cool. Yeah, definitely interested. You
Rick, I
brought up
wanted.
you brought up. Go ahead, Danny.
I just wanted to
But
ask really quick on Josh. Obviously, I've known of him for a while now because of you, but we've seen him in there on matchroom shows against Joe Cordina. We've
yeah,
seen him in there against Chris Colbert. Now that
yeah.
you have control, just your goals, with Josh and what you look to do, moving him.
Um, I've always, I've known Josh since he was about 7, 8 years old. He's always been in my gyms with his father, so I know him for a long time. I always had a soft spot for Josh. We just started working together for about a year, almost a year. So we did get, and I wanted the Mark Castro fight. I thought that was a fight that Josh could win. You know what I mean? It would obviously it's tough. Mark Castro's no joke, but Mark Castro does make mistakes, and I felt like that was a fight that we could could take, and Josh would be okay with it. So we did get offered the Castro fight from Matchroom, and I thought the money was extremely low. So I said, Josh, you know what? Let's go get a win. Josh fights April 8th in Rosemont, Chicago. So we're going to get a win and hopefully revisit that opportunity. But I definitely, my plan is to get Josh a win, get his confidence back going, and maybe take a Mark Castro fight. Hopefully, that's an opportunity that comes back around because I definitely think that was the fight that I had pegged for him for the last 2 years. So to actually get an offer from Matchroom on a fight that I wanted, it was just bad timing for all of us. But because that was when we went to Abu Dhabi, so we would have had to train Josh. I brought Josh to Abu Dhabi with us, but I kept him in the gym with us out there. But I like to see Josh and Mark Castro, and that's a fight that you could see in 2023. And I'll push for it when the time is right. So after this April 8th fight, well, I'm definitely going to push for that Castro fight.
And then what's up with Matt? What's he got cooking your heavyweight?
Matt, I think we're going to stay at Bridgerweight.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I think his next fight is going to be also April 8th. I mean, this is how Chicago is. I have 9 kids on the show. April 8th in Chicago. I got 9 kids on that show. So it's definitely I'm working over here. It's just
Wait, so you got a
as you
show April 9th, April 8th?
yeah, it's not my show. I just have 9 kids on it. But Bobby Hits, shout out to Bobby Hits in Chicago. So it's a big show for myself and my partner. So we're gonna see how it goes, and we're gonna try to bring Chicago back to the boxing scene because I feel like it kind of fell off for a minute. So we're back, and we're gonna try to bring our kids on 4 times a year and push the pace.
I sent you that information on your DMs, and I also sent you a
Okay, cool.
video of the girl sparring on your WhatsApp. Um,
Gotcha.
and
You brought up Sky Nicholson. I wanted to talk about that whenever you got a second.
yeah,
Just
I
make sure we
wanted to
don't
talk
forget.
about that opponent, bro. It's like I'm saying, like, how the hell they approve Sky Nicholson's opponent, but they can't get you a fucking Summer Lynn fight? Like, that girl from Spain was horrible.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't even know what's going on in some of these women. Like, she was just literally running into Sky. I mean, credit to Sky, she
Like
got
face
tired.
first.
Exactly. But for the first couple of rounds and every so often Sky would do what she needed to, which was hook and pivot. Hook and pivot.
Yeah.
Tie this girl up. Like, bro, where they finding these B-sides? How could Summer not get a shot? But they gave this 7-0 Spaniard woman an opportunity for no reason. No reason. The way she was punching, she wasn't going to hurt anyone.
I think, the other thing too is like, every time I do a deal with someone, I'm always looking to like, okay, if we beat her, is there anything behind that? You know what I mean? So I think, I ask a lot of questions, and I think a lot of times when you're the B side, a lot of the B side people, they're obviously people are the B side for a reason, whether it's, they don't know how the boxing game works, whether, they're comfortable, they just want to fight. Some people just want to fight and they don't really care to be signed or whatever. I try to get all my kids promotional deals. So every time we go out, I'm like, okay, if we beat this kid, we would love another opportunity at XYZ, So I think for some reason, it's just easier to deal with people who don't ask questions and who just take the first offer. I never take the first offer, obviously, and I'm trying to get the best for my kids. But sometimes it's like it almost works against me sometimes. You know what I mean? And
I,
it's it
I
sucks.
I've learned, Rick, in this game, you never take the first offer.
Mm-mm. But I think the game is changing because it's like almost people every time I don't take the first offer, they're like, Rick, come on, man, you always give everybody trouble, and it's like, man, like I don't know, like where in the world have you guys ever taken a first offer of anything?
Hell
Like
no.
I know you two pretty well, and I know you two guys don't take the first offer of anything, so it's like, why
That
should I?
first offer better
So
be overwhelming. I tell you that. I'm
right,
telling you, if it makes me feel good, then I'm not gonna expect
yeah,
more. I won't. I'm not one of those guys that's like, damn, a million, and then it's like, well, damn, if they give me a million, maybe I could get two.
Well,
Nah, fuck
yeah,
that. That
right,
million is good for me. I'm good with that.
yo, but they were saying that this NBA player just had stake in the company. Boom, he want to sell his stake. Or it was Jay Z. It wasn't no NBA player. It was Jay Z. He had Duce, and so he's selling. He was trying to sell his share, and so basically they saying that they undervalued, right? So the company is now
hmm
undervaluing whatever, whatever, and so he took them to court and got 800 million, and they like, yeah, that was cool, but if it was really worth 5 billion, you was gonna get 2.5. You settled for 800 million now, and it's like, what was it
yeah,
really worth? If they gave you 800, what was it really worth?
Rick,
yeah.
so the
That's and
chat
that's
the
good.
chat wants you to re-answer that because they're saying you first said that the Josh offer was too low, but then you said it was bad timing. So which is it?
I think a little bit of both. I think to be straight honest with you, I would have taken the fight. And I hope no one from Matchroom watches this. I would have taken the fight for almost any amount of money with respect to Josh. Um, meaning like we just didn't have enough time together at that point, Josh and I. I think we were only together 4 months, and I felt like for me to implement the right style, I need Josh at least 6 to 8 months for me to say, okay, this is a fight. Now we get 8 weeks on top of that. Let's do it. So he's been adjusting to my style. He's been adjusting to sparring, different sparring. So it was a kind of I wasn't 100% comfortable with the amount of time that I had with Josh, and the offer was too low. So I guess the offer being so low and them not willing to adjust their offer was easy for me to say, you know what, I'm going to step back. I definitely think that's a fight that'll come back around. I don't think Mark Castro is excelling so fast that he's going to blow, you know, through Josh's level. He's probably a little bit above it right now, but I don't think he's skyrocketing to the top like some of these other people are. So I think that fight will come back around.
Yeah, no, I would
Did I
have.
answer that question? I felt like I
Yes,
didn't
yes.
answer a question again.
No, no,
Sorry, my
no, no.
bad.
Yes, yes, and no, I would agree too. I mean, obviously, for you working with somebody, that's you investing not just your time, your money, your energy.
Yeah,
So you want to make sure that if you're gonna put him in a situation, that he's prepared to be in that situation. Makes perfect
yeah, for
sense.
sure.
Makes
Yeah, and I
perfect
just wanted
sense.
to, and coming back from, Abu Dhabi, I wanted to make sure that if we're gonna be, if my team and myself will be on TV, I wanted us to perform at the peak performance and put on a great effort and hopefully pull off the win. Just everything about that fight was just the timing wasn't 100% right. The money was way too low. It was just, you know, I ain't gonna let it slip again. Put it that way. The opportunity is bigger than the money for sure. In my head, I thought the opportunity was bigger than the money,
Mm.
but I just didn't have enough time with them.
So I'm being told that the female I sent you
Hmm.
is willing to come to Chicago, but I also sent
Cool.
you another one that is very young but highly declarated. I got a couple of questions from the people. James Valdez in San Antonio, Texas says, if Tank versus Ryan happens, how does it turn out? Does Ryan see the
Uh,
12th round?
you know what? I think I answered this before on Twitter, but it's like those guys are so volatile. Like between like those guys getting arrested, those guys sleeping with chicks, baby mama drama. Like I feel like one week I have Tank, the next week I have Ryan, the next week I have Tank, the next week I have Ryan. So if Ryan, here's this is what I say. This is my answer. If Ryan doesn't stop Tank in 4 rounds, I think Tank wins. I think Ryan's good early. He starts faster than Tank, but Tank comes on better later. So if he doesn't do it in the first 3 or 4, Tank might stop him. I don't think it's going to go 12.
Ruin the 504 New Orleans says, how much credit should Jessica Mccaskill get for beating a former Shields victim in Hazabin when just last year Jessica said she's not impressed with the top women's boxers?
I mean, that's not. I mean, again, this is a 3 sanctioning body mandatory. She's mandatory in 3 different sanctioning bodies. So, I mean, if it was up to me, she isn't obviously my top choice, but this is what we have to do to satisfy more than one mandatory, 3 of them actually. So, we're
But
just
do
gonna
you
have
think
to.
she
She's
gets
in our
credit?
way. No. I mean, I think no, I don't. Unless Jess like knocks her out and kind of like the Elma situation. If Jess goes out there and pulls a Jessica or an Elma Ibarra type situation on her, then yeah, I mean, I think it'll be noticed. Credit, that's a little different than noticed, but very little, if any. But yeah, we just got to make sure we win spectacularly. But we got to make sure we just win.
Bro, that's an underrated win. For us, we
I
celebrated
agree. I
because
agree.
we picked Jessica and bet Jessica by knockout in that fight. So, it gets celebrated here a lot. But, having interviewed Raquel Miller and knowing that Raquel went the distance with that same girl was like, oh, wow, how'd that happen?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think Raquel Miller, sometimes she's like hot and sometimes she's just kind of like flat. But, sometimes, everyone knows Raquel Miller like a punch. So I think, she might not have had the best performance that night. I don't know. But, I don't know. We just plan to get the victory. I don't even care how it comes. We just need to win that fight.
So I got Bougie in Broward that says, no question, coach, but thanks for coming on the show. Can you talk with him about Rosa, please and thank you? And Rosa is the girl that I sent you. Her name is Rosalinda
Oh.
Rodriguez. She lives in the Miami area. She's 13-0, 3 KOs. And like I said, I sent you the sparring and stuff like that so that you can
And
see.
and Rosa's the girl who wants to come to Chicago.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't seen her, to be honest with you. I'm going to look at her right now when we're done and take a look, and I'll definitely come back on the show and talk about it. Yeah, I have no problem, man, like bringing people out. Like I said, Jessica lives at my house, and she has a whole house. We have other apartments that are just empty. You know what I mean? So we have no problem bringing people out at all. Jessica's very generous. I like to think I'm generous, so we have no problem bringing everybody out. We love new talent. We
You're a
love to get
very
excited.
generous guy, Rick.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I mean, that's what kind of why we're in this game. What's the point of how? I mean, what's the point of winning and doing all this stuff if we can't share it? We share everything we got, everything.
Do you think, my final question is, do you think that
Yeah.
a big win is needed over this opponent in order to get a re-signing with Matchroom, or do you prefer to keep Jessica a free agent at the moment?
That is a great question. Um, I don't even know if I could say this yet, but I'm going to say this right now on your show. Um, I will have a Matchroom deal, win or loss.
Mm.
Eddie and I already talked. Like I said, I told him how I felt. I felt disrespected, and I felt like we've been loyal to Matchroom as far as Jessica's career. And Eddie and I talked, and we made 2 different scenarios, whether if Jess wins this next fight or loses this next fight. And I made sure that Jessica has some protection and some insurance as far as options after this fight. So I'm just waiting for the contract to come over, and once I sign it, it's official. But right now, it's verbally official. We went over the details, Eddie and I. There's no in between. Like I think in the past, where I would talk to matchroom lawyers or Kevin Rooney, who I love. No disrespect to Kevin, I love, but sometimes words get mixed up in translation. Sometimes Eddie and I talk, and we're so excited that we're like, "Yo, let's do this, let's do that," and then we go back to Kevin, and Kevin's like, "What the fuck did you guys talk about?" And so, but this time around, I talked to Eddie and Jessica. We'll get a matchroom deal, win or lose this next fight. But obviously, we will win, and we'll be successful and move forward. that a dog I see back there?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Two English bulldogs running around the studio.
Nice, nice,
But that's
nice.
all my questions. You have any
Yeah.
more?
Nah, man. It's always great to talk to Rick, catch up.
Yeah, Rick, if you could
Thank
give
you,
out your
bro.
social media and Jessica's as well, or any, if you have like a fighter management social media, or you're just using Rick, is all good. But yeah, if you can just give it
Yeah,
out where some of these females that are going to be interested in management can contact you.
yeah, for sure. So you can find me on all social media platforms, rickramosboxing.com or Rick Ramos Boxing on all social media platforms. You can find Jessica McCaskill on all social media platforms as well. Like I said, we're always looking for new talent. Jessica will probably start signing fighters at the end of the year with me together. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the future, and we plan to stick around for a long time.
All right, Rick. Well, thank you once again, man. Wish you guys the best of luck, and can't
Thank
wait to
you,
get you
guys.
back on.
All right, brother. I'm gonna check out that Rosa girl, and we'll talk. We'll talk.
All
We
right,
always
check your
talk solid
WhatsApp. I
talkers.
sent you a 3-minute sparring clip on WhatsApp.
All right, brother. So thank you guys for having me on, man. Thank you everybody for the questions. Appreciate all the
All
love.
right.
Appreciate you, Rick.
That was good interview. Definitely a good interview. We needed those answers. And it's good to hear that she has a deal. I was almost feeling a little bit mad at Eddie that she was being treated the way that she was, honestly.
What up, YouTube family? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1,000,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 1,000,000. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content, or right here on our YouTube members.